Welcome back. Today we are back with another DJ Richie Sky video. Kandi, we're gonna be watching Kandi and Todd allegedly confronting Tamar. Now, last I checked, Kandi and Tamar was cool, but I don't know what happened. So what is this about? You never know with Tamar, because you never know what she gonna say out her mouth. So I'm pretty sure it was probably something Tamar said.
Some early morning tea. Now, let me go ahead and put this alleged badge up here because no names were actually named in this whole situation, but it's pretty easy to take a couple of guesses as to who was being referred to. So I'm going to place all links in the description so that you guys will have access to all of the information. But you guys can make your own inferences based on the clues that we have been given, okay? So this whole situation is going down between Tamar, Kandi, and Todd.
What does Evelyn fit in here?
So in order to really dive into this, I'm going to take you over to official Ken Barbie on Instagram. Now, I don't know if you follow the account on Instagram or not, but definitely give them a follow.
I was threatened by a peach.
Get a lot of great entertainment
and
pop culture news and commentary from there as well. And somebody happened to point this in my direction today. Okay? Now, let's get into the tea at hand. All right? So they happened to capture a post by Tamar Braxton on Instagram stories that says, "I was threatened by a peach and they man." So what would lead us to feel like she was threatened by a peach and they man? Well, let's really dive into the biz naive. We also know that Tamar has been on tour with the ladies from Escape on a couple of tour dates, and I believe this one right here was the last night of the tour. So you guys can see here, this date was December the 10th, and then you can see here, this date says December the 17th, okay? Which just happened to be last night.
Oh yeah, if y'all together, it was definitely you.
Taking things back
it was
over
definitely
to
Kandi.
Official Ken Barbie's page, you guys can see this IG story here. So it says a peach and a man. So that would lead us to believe that it could potentially be Kandi, correct? Especially given the timing of the IG story, the concert.
Okay, but why?
And the idea that this is a peach and
they
a
on
man.
Tour together.
So obviously you would think Kandi and Todd. So she then goes on to say, "I felt like if I did what they did, they would have told the world." And then it says, "But because they don't want y'all to know how effed up they are as people and city officials, they ain't said ish." The city officials part has thrown me off.
Right.
Is it that maybe Kandi and Todd are like representatives of the city of Atlanta,
right,
meaning they're very well known in Atlanta? I'm not necessarily sure. And then it says, "Shall we play a guessing game? ... So we got a little bit of crypticness here from Tamar. And then it says, "It's beef and it is a real beef because your husband stepped to me. Period. Merry Christmas." Okay.
Now we know Tamar is dramatic.
Tamar is letting us know.
I highly doubt Todd stepped to her like she's trying to make it seem.
There's something real that's happening here. Okay. Something real is going on. I don't know what. Now, when I headed over to Tamar's Instagram stories this morning, the only things that I could see that were left up there were, "I got a story, y'all want to hear about it," and then it says, "But because they don't want y'all to know how effed up they are as people and city officials, they ain't said ish." So,
well, if you want us to know, then say the name, sis.
Morning, so I'm guessing maybe she might have deleted them, or I'm not necessarily sure what happened. But you guys can see what's happening right here in pretty much black and white and in color on these
Okay,
Insta
but what
stories
led
collected
to
by
this?
official
Why do
Army.
people think it's
All right.
Kandi?
So again, this all happened.
And why? What Evelyn got to do
around
with
the
any of
same
this?
time that maybe the concert would have been ending. So that leads us to believe that she was speaking about Kandi based on the clues. But again, I have to say all commentary is alleged because Tamar didn't put an at on it. She said basically for us to guess. Okay? So that's part one of this scenario, right? So let's take things over to part two. Okay? The tweets from official Ken Barbie indicate
really
that all of this
that Todd
is
set up.
stemming from Tamar defending Carlos King.
Oh.
Because as you guys may recall, during an interview with House of Aaron, Kandi alleged that Carlos King had tried to steal their group's life story.
Yeah, Tamar should have minded her business.
And so Tamar, when she was on Dish Nation, she was defending Carlos King, okay? And apparently the word is, and we got to say allegedly because even official Ken Barbie says allegedly here, the word is that they got into it really bad on December 10th at the joint concert. And that is the concert that we told you guys about.
Yeah, I mean, Tamar is being messy.
Here. Now, to take things back over to the explanation, and they posted
I don't really understand why Tamar is speaking on that, first of all. Secondly, if you know this is something that Kandi has been mad about for years, you know, she still don't mess with Carlos King, and you know you're on tour with her, why would you go out in the public and say something like that and then think all is going to be cool when you go on her tour?
As you guys can see here, of Tamar defending Carlos King on Dish Nation, the Ken Barbie writes on Twitter and says, and following that altercation, Tamar has accused Kandi of trying to stop her bag by allegedly trying to get her removed from shows.
Didn't y'all go through this already?
Kandi's husband decided to confront Tamar himself while Escape was performing on stage. Messy. So, and this all apparently went down.
Now, I don't agree with that. Todd should not have tried. If that's true, then Todd should have minded his business. He should not have taken it upon himself to try to confront Tamar when Kandi wasn't around. Now, that is messy. Now that is messy. I will understand why Tamar was upset about that. But I just don't understand why Tamar, again, why she would go and say that on that radio show on, what was she on Dish Nation? Didn't Kandi fire you from a tour already for something like this? Shouldn't you know by now? Haven't y'all been through this before? Have you not learned your lesson?
In Tampa. Now you guys can head over to the official Ken Barbie's page on Instagram and get every last drip drop of the tea with this story. We're just going to give you the highlights here, but let us know what your thoughts are down in the conversation down below. To be quite honest with you, when we're talking about people joining the Real Housewives of Atlanta, it seems to me that if the Bravo executives really had any, desire to see the show succeed, they might be knocking on Miss Tamar's door because she would definitely bring us the Joe-rama. Okay?
I'm not interested. I am not interested in seeing Tamar throw her tantrums and cry and storm off every time she get red. I'm not interested. Nope. Bravo, don't do it. Don't do it. No.
Gotta talk about, well, speaking of Tamar and being back on TV, right? Because she will be back on TV, and she will be back on TV on the Peacock. Oh yes, on the Peacock. So let's get into it. Not only will she be back, but she, along with Evelyn Lozada
Oh.
and Nivea, will be featured in a new series called Queen's Court, airing on Peacock
Queen's
next year.
Court?
Now, we had previously talked about this because there had been some rumblings about it, but we didn't really have anything official, I think, except the title.
Wasn't that like
and
Kaya
a
and
basic
T.S.
premise
Madison
of it.
show?
But
Wasn't
now
that
we
called
have
Queen's
a
Court?
full-on announcement. So when you head over to Peacock, and shout out to our friends over at Jay's Reality Blog, and this is coming to, and they are reposting this from Deadline. So here's all
This
the
is a
sources,
dating
and
show?
again, all source links will be included in the description so that you guys can A, support the sources, B, check them out for
That's
yourselves,
an interesting
like
mix.
and comment,
Nivea,
and also
excuse me.
read more
Nivea,
information
Evelyn,
about
and
these
Tamar
stories and
on a
other
dating
stories
show.
that you may be
That's
interested in.
interesting.
Now, the verbiage from Peacock reads, in the first area, Peacock has picked up Queen's Court, which you guys may recall was actually originally a name used by
T.S. Madison and
and
Kaya.
Kaya.
Yep.
And so ultimately, you know, I think that T.S. Madison ended up going in a different direction, and we've all just ultimately seen her star explode, I mean, into something just phenomenal. I'm so proud of her. But let's get back to this show. So the show is called Queen's Court, a new 10-episode dating series from top producer Will Packer, which features, now if you guys know Will Packer was also the person who had put together or provided the production for this past year's Oscars, where Will Smith, you know, popped Chris Rock, okay? And so many people will know Will Packer from his works in producing a lot of major films featuring talent of color.
Okay.
Robinson Pete and her husband Rodney Pete, whose relationship insights will guide the queens through the ups and downs of a dating pool of 21 confident and successful men. Now, I'm here for this if it is going to yield something that is actually substantive,
real, yeah.
Meaning that these are going to be real relationships that we see happen, and real relationships that we see, and it's not going to feel so.
All right. How do y'all feel about a dating show? I don't know. I just don't think dating shows are real. That's an interesting group. That's an interesting group of people. But yeah, as far as that, I don't know. I feel like Tamar brought that upon herself. That is something that happened so long ago. I don't even know why Dish Nation would ask her that. Like, well, that's such a random question. But yeah, that's just Tamar. She's her mouth constantly gets her in trouble. I really don't get why she felt like she needed to speak on that. That had nothing to do with her. Knowing you on tour with Kandi. Like, girl, what are you doing? But yeah, those are my thoughts. What are your thoughts? Leave them down below. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.